Why is the Western media ignoring the escalating war in Eastern Congo? Today, we're going to look at the New York Times. For the past week or two, I've been paying attention to who is reporting on the escalation of war in Eastern Congo. I've Googled many times, New York Times, Goma, Congo, nothing. So today we're going to go straight to the New York Times website. Here's the main page. And we already know that there won't be anything about Congo here. So we're going to go back up to the top and go to the world section. And we're going to quickly skim through here. We already know, based on Google searches, that there are no articles on the current escalating conflict as of March 16th, 2023. Here's the world news. Ukraine, South Korea, Britain, Ukraine, Hungary, France, Israel, United States. We have another one on Israel, Italy, France, not sure where, Ukraine, Angola, Canada, Turkey, Nepal, Albania. So that's the world page. Now we're going to go over to the Africa. We're going to narrow this down here and try to find an article about the current escalating war in Eastern Congo, specifically near the city of Goma. So we're going to narrow this down to the Africa section. The latest on Africa, it's a list by date. So the last African article, or the last article that the New York Times wrote on Africa was yesterday on Ethiopia. We have the cyclone in Malawi. Another one on the Malawi cyclone. General East Africa, about oil between Uganda and Tanzania. Another one on the cyclone in Malawi. Angola, Algeria, Mozambique, South Africa's president, Nigeria, and the elections there. Another one on the Malawi cyclone. So that's 3 or 4 now on the cyclone. This one's about the African diaspora. Tunisia. Concerning France's relationship with Africa. Nigeria, Ethiopia, South Africa, Nigeria, Ukraine, and Uganda. Wow, Ukraine made its way into the African section, the Africa section of the New York Times. Nigeria, Somalia, Nigeria, Ghanaian football player who passed away in Turkey. Nigeria on voters. South Africa and Russia. South Africa's wine scene. This is already back to February 15th, so it's over a month now. Nigeria. I don't think we need to continue because the war is in Eastern Congo. It's escalated exponentially in the past month. So we see there's nothing on the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, the escalation of the war there, and nothing about refugees, the murders and attacks, M23, nothing. So we need to hold accountable the East Africa correspondent. This is the New York Times' East Africa correspondent, abdi.dahir. This is his page, and the articles that he's been writing. The last one on Congo was February 1st on the Pope's visit to Kinshasa. Not bad, but he could do better. So where is Mr. Dahir's email? Usually it's over here on the right side, but he's hiding his email address, only his Twitter. So I did a little searching online, went to this site here, and I found Mr. Dahir's email address, abdi.dahir at nytimes.com. abdi.dahir at nytimes.com. This is the typical format for journalist correspondence for the New York Times. It's their first name with a dot, their last name at nytimes.com. So if you have a moment, please contact Mr. Abdi Latif Dahir, because he's not doing his job right. The second correspondent would be the the general African correspondent. So this would be Mr. I assume this would be Mr. Dahir's boss. The chief Africa correspondent for the New York Times, Declan Walsh. So we can look at Mr. Walsh's recent articles: Ethiopia, Somalia, Syria, Pakistan, okay, South Sudan, and so it's more than a month now. So no articles from Mr. Walsh, and as you can see on the right side here, you can email the author through a form email. However, I use the same format as Mr. Dahir to write an email, and when I enter it into Gmail, both Mr. Dahir and Mr. Walsh, their email pops up on your Gmail with their photograph. So these are working email addresses. So if you don't want to use this form email, which I suggest you don't, Mr. Declan Walsh, Chief Africa Correspondent, his email is declan.walsh@nytimes.com. declan.walsh@nytimes.com. So again, if you have a moment, just send a quick email about why. Ask them why they are ignoring the conflict, the violence, the escalation of war, primarily between M23 and Congolese citizens. So let's start with Mr. Dahir. Right here is his email, and if you don't hear back from him, you can write to Mr. Walsh, or you can do what I did and just write to both of them. So that's all I have for today. Thank you very much. And shame on the New York Times for not reporting on the war in Congo.